Hey guys, this is Adam with SeeYouLaterLeaner, and I am here with Emerald. I'm sure you guys have seen him on my social media
What's up,
already.
guys?
And it's so good to have you on here.
So
We
good to
have
be
talked about this for too long
Yes,
and not
it's been a
gotten a
while
chance
coming.
to do it.
Yep.
I think a lot of it was we were trying to do it with other people. I think getting just everyone's
Yeah.
schedule to coordinate. So I feel bad if Dylan and Derek are watching. It's just this lined up to
Yeah.
do it with just him, but we'll get the other guys in. It's so great to have you here. I met you at Strength Culture for one of the posing clinics I was hosting with Stan and Courtney
I remember.
and Sam. And I was just blown away. I didn't think you were natural by looking at you.
Crazy.
I wouldn't have guessed. And then, then I believed it, once we chatted, especially once you kind of showed me your previous show
Yes.
roster. And then we just hit it off really well.
Yeah.
And
Right
I'm
off the gate.
thankful for that. You've been training with the guys. You're always ready to work. And I think what was funny is you've just got such a great physique. We found there was like a little bit more in the tank for push for you in the gym. And
100%.
it's been really cool because I've seen this guy grow as a young man, a young professional. He's a personal trainer. He's starting to kill it out here in his business in Las Vegas. So that's fun for me to watch. I know a lot of coaches, don't support their clients' coaching journey because they're almost like competition, but I can't train everyone. I love to see you with your clients, taking care of your clients just as well as I do. And it's so cool to watch you grow. It is. Yeah.
What's really crazy is on my last prep, I was actually watching this podcast. You popped up on my YouTube channel and I had no clue who you were or anything. And I watched your whole video. And then to be sitting here now is a real full circle moment. To be sitting here next to you and doing this podcast and to be working with you as a coach is it's crazy how sometimes life is throwing you hints and then the hint becomes the reality.
It's a good point. Yeah. That's so cool. See, because I didn't know. I know you had seen my podcast, but I wasn't sure which one. So,
and another crazy thing is it was for peak week, and this is the week before peak week.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
so we're
so
doing a
cool.
podcast about peak week the week before my peak week.
Yeah.
So that's
Before
super
the
crazy.
Vegas Pro-Am, you were also in the audience watching, my client Deontay not only win the men's physique, but also the classic.
Yeah, that was amazing.
And now here we are with you thinking we're going to do both.
Yeah, coming in with some heat.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. You've prepped before. This is your third season of bodybuilding?
Yes, third season. Yes, sir.
But this is your first time in the NPC, correct?
Second.
Second.
My first show was
right.
NPC. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you did Muscle Mania.
And then I did Muscle Mania. Yeah.
That's awesome. And then back to NPC.
Back to NPC. Yeah.
Let's talk about the differences. Like, so your very first show, you probably didn't know what to expect. Then you did the Muscle Mania. What made you want to go back?
Well, I mean, my first show was an untested show, so I didn't know anything about the natural bodybuilding world. So the next show, I just definitely wanted to do a natural show to really have a better idea of contrast. Because, they say comparison is the thief of joy. So when you're comparing yourself to other athletes that aren't necessarily natural, you're not getting a full spectrum of where you're actually at as an athlete. So Muscle Mania was just the first show I heard that was a natural show. So I said, all right, let's go do it. It was in Hollywood. Hollywood's a big name.
Yeah.
So I decided to go out there. As far as the difference of NPC versus Muscle Mania, I just think NPC has a monopoly on the industry right now. Muscle Mania is kind of like the OGs. They used to be like into TV and everything, but a lot of people are doing NPC now. So just more competition. But the show I did, there was a decent amount of competition, and it was a great show, and I enjoyed it. So it was anytime you get on stage, it's a blessing,
Yeah. Also, back then, I don't think NPC was hosting their natural contests or as
Yeah.
many of them. There's
Yeah.
always been the Dave Lieberman, but you would have had to go all the way out to Ohio.
Yeah.
And
OCB,
really,
they had OCB, they
yeah,
have World of Bodybuilding. Those are the other divisions.
yeah.
Yeah.
Austin Carr was really the first person to bring natural bodybuilding on the West Coast.
Yeah.
So, and now here we are. I know you're a very proud natural athlete, and there's like a whole dark side to bodybuilding.
Yeah, 100%.
I know you wanted to touch on that.
Yeah,
So,
I really let's jump into it. Like, I'm not going to try to offend anyone. I'm going to be super honest and candid in this interview with you guys. But I just want to talk about what I see in the industry. And let's imagine this. Let's imagine there's a magical thing that happens and there's no steroids in the industry. Would the industry still be the same? Would there still be the Arnolds? Because a lot of people are coming to see freaks, monsters, and we see that this is the only sport that you are rewarded for the more drugs you take. That's where the reward comes in. But what if we take away all this? Because we should be rewarded for our human potential, how much we can push. If you want to see a freak go to the circus, I'm trying to show you what it means to build my body with nothing but what God has given me.
I think it's cool. Both can exist. And I think you raised a good question, because sometimes it's not about how much you're taking. It's just the engine you're putting it in. So I sometimes like to compare this to like NASCAR. Maybe you've got a bigger engine, or maybe you've got a smaller engine, but the aerodynamics are better, or like the shape of the competitor. And I think the question you ask is something we'll never know the answer to.
For me, when it comes to NASCAR, I think of it kind of like nitrates. To me, enhancements is like nitro. But the engine is still the engine. We all like what we put in our engine is anything from the food we eat and all that stuff. But to have that nitro to go faster, and the race would still happen with or without the nitro. So I just think it's very interesting to see the concept of like all these physiques. And we could talk about the other end. Like, is there any other sports that does not exist without an external force? Like when you look at soccer, when you look at football, when you look at this is the only sport that to be included in the sport at the top, you must be a part of the enhanced club to get paid the most. And I just think that's very like, wow. What are we going to do to shift that? Is there a shift for that?
Yeah, I think it's coming. I think it's so new with the naturals that it's just going to take some time to build. But, the money is generating. I think it will be there. Probably won't be as much as the enhanced, but then you have the whole risk reward aspect. And I know there's a lot of controversy about payments per division. But when we look at the male bodybuilders, they're taking a very high risk, and they're getting a pretty darn good reward. But I think at the end of the day, until we are, maybe meeting our maker, we don't know if the price is worth it or not.
You as a coach, okay, because you are deep into the coaching industry. When we see deaths happening from steroid usage, when we see enlarged hearts and all these things occurring, what is your mindset when it comes to that? Because for me, it's just like, cool, you created something, but was it necessary for you to take this route? Is it a misunderstanding? Is it overdoing it, or what is it?
Yeah. Well, the interesting thing with the deaths is I think, kind of back to the NASCAR thing, if like let's say someone dies from a NASCAR race in their vehicle, does it automatically mean they were speeding?
Yeah.
So is it the steroids or is it just the genetic component? Now, obviously there's risk with the drugs, and anytime we're bigger than we humanly should be, there's definitely some risk. But I think there's just a lot of unknowns. But however, with things like diuretics and stuff like that, they'll definitely like backstage deaths and stuff like that. We've seen a few of those happen. And that's certainly just lack of education with the peaking protocols and stuff. So that we can definitely attribute to the advice some of these people are getting, you know. And
100%. And I'm going to drop some names, and this isn't to offend anyone. It's just like, these are just my experiences. This is my story. So as I'm at a show recently, probably like 2 months ago, I'm talking to a coach, a very well-known coach, right? I'm going to just say her name. Her name is Kimber, right? And she's literally saying not taking steroids is actually more unhealthy for you. So she's literally down talking as someone's trying to go to the natural route and saying, well, no, you shouldn't take this route. And I see that a lot with certain people that are on gear. They'll cope and they'll try to make it seem like their way's better. You don't know what you're talking about. Or they'll try to talk you out or make you seem like you're doing something even more unhealthier, or they'll talk about how unpopular the sport is. So for me, it's just like, how can I push past the level of limitations? That's what bodybuilding is about, pushing past the level of limitations that people have placed on themselves, and the illusion, because a lot of people live in this delusional state after they start taking enhancements. They think because they're bigger, now they're more intelligent when it comes to training. But it's like, no, you're now taking enhancements. That's why you are the way you are.
How do we correlate that to the average person who's not taking enhancements when we train them, And I do think that some of the better coaches are natural coaches to a point. But then I do think you have to have some experience with some PEDs for like that next level. And you're right. There's people who do throw that perspective out there. If you're not on HRT or TRT to replace the hormones, yes, you can kind of biohack the low hormonal state. But does that ultimately make it healthier? I mean, just because the lab markers look normal, you're still putting your body through a crap ton of stress regardless.
So it is so from your coach's perspective, is natural bodybuilding more healthier, or is taking gear more healthy?
Yeah, I 1,000% think being natural is more healthy.
Okay.
When you supercharge a car, you have to change the transmission behind it, and the moment we start making ourselves, chemically bigger than genetically we were predisposed to be, that's where it can, you start getting the sleep apnea, and then that's hard on the heart. I do think it's, higher risk for the men than the women, but then the women, they get the virilization, right? And then that's like instantly you see it, you hear it. Some girls are really shy about, man, I made all these bad decisions. And I think it comes down to the coaching, it really is risk and reward for me, where I've had clients who are like, hey, I want to go enhance. And it's like, but why? You have so many other things going on. Like you've got, maybe they run their own business and they're killing it in that. And they're maybe getting like 5th place at shows. How bad do you want the pro card, and how much do you want to, distract from what you're currently doing?
I agree.
I kind of approach it from that way, but I also get that a lot of other coaches don't have the time to discuss that with their athletes. So they're just like, okay, let's go, or unfortunately, I think the other side of that is, this looks better for me. I can create champion right away. And it's kind of like,
it's a fast route to create champions.
And I'll say I'm lucky. I have the client load that I can make these decisions. If I lose somebody, it's a big deal to me personally, because I care about the person, and then someone may not care about them as much as me. But I at least have the flexibility to take a hit by losing a client financially, where I can have these hard conversations on, I don't think you should, or if you do, don't follow like the black cat cycle that you're seeing on bodybuilding.com right now, because that's not where you should start. I understand what it was like when I didn't have the flexibility to lose a client. It could eat your entire income, you know? But I love to talk about this because hopefully there's coaches watching this who are like, I don't want to say anyone's a bad person, but we have to understand why people are the way they are.
Yeah.
You know, I
from
think
their own personal experiences. But I think we have to continue to have the conversation and be honest. Some people try to make the conversation go their way and they're not willing to listen. And some people just don't like to hear the truth. But I say the truth, as long as you're being honest and brutally truthful with people, you're going to save a lot of kids from thinking this is the only way I could create this physique. This is the only way I could look this way is if I do this. Now you have 16-year-old kids ruining their testosterone before they're even 21. And then they end up looking even worse. They become more depressed and they end up way behind just because they were looking at the bodybuilding industry thinking this is what I want to do. That's why the natural way, that's why natural bodybuilding is an element to be like, this is actually possible. Not everybody's genetics is the same, 100%. I'm not 6'7", so I'm not going to go hoop. I don't have the fast switch muscles, so I'm not going to go be a sprinter. You have to find your lane and be great at your lane. I'm not going to freaking extend my knees so I could be 6'7" and go play basketball. I could do that, but is that the smart route?
Right. Yeah. It's almost interesting. Like I always thought it would be cool to have a grant program that got younger kids into bodybuilding. Yeah. But then you also wonder if they start there, does it make them, you know, everyone's going to make their own decisions, but will they start trying to go to the top too soon? But I think that's where the programming and the coaching's really key on how you implement this, you know. And I just really love that the NPC and IFBB has been listening. They create Fit Model. And I think that, you know, they're really trying to make this the best for everybody, which I think is why it's taking off, you know. Some of the natural feds got really, they were bumping their heads about a lot of certain supplements, and that's created a lot of division. And natural bodybuilding, the last thing it needed was to be divided.
It needs to be together.
And I think that's where, you know, the NPC has just really taken off and doing something with this now, you know, having 3 athletes get natural pro cards last year at the same show was incredible, you know, and there's very few of those natural pro cards available.
But I know. And I got to say this with Adam, and I got to let you guys know that I will be the greatest natural bodybuilder of this time and times to come. Like, I'm coming for you, Tyler. I'm coming for you, Sean Fury. I am the Natty King.
He's going to go for it. And I'm definitely excited about where he's at. You know, he's training with a few of my guys who are enhanced respectfully. And dude, you keep up extremely well.
Keep up.
Yeah, you're strong as shit.
Yeah, we're coming with the heat. But like I say that in all humility too, because a lot of this, like we say a lot of these things, and a lot of people don't like confidence, but you have to have a level of confidence, but also a level of humility too as you walk in this sport. And I say this, I love everyone's physiques that are anyone that's in the sport, enhanced or not. If you have an incredible physique, you have an incredible physique, and you worked hard at it regardless. So we have to state that. But there is a level of competition, right? And the level of competition means you have to be willing to show up every single day, be around the best, and be willing to do what it takes to be the best. Like, stop eating those cheap meals. Like, people are more excited about what they're going to eat after the show than what the actual show. Like, you just lost the show. Now you're going to go eat some Oreo McFlurry. Like, no, like, go lock back in. Go reassess. If you're just doing this for fun and you're doing this just as a hobby, okay, go do whatever you want to do. But if you're really serious, if you want to be like the Kobe, the Mamba mentality, if you want to be like the LeBron, if you want to be the top level, wherever, if you're doing enhanced or natural, you have to think different. You have to leave the small level thinking. You have to be up early doing your cardio. training. You have to be, after that, doing your posing. You have to lock the fuck in. And a lot of people are like just so excited about minimum things. And I separate myself from those people. And most of the time when you're first beginning, maybe you're like that. But when you start to learn who you are as a person and you start to learn, like, what results do you want? Do you want to be the greatest of all time, or do you want to just sit on the bench and watch? If that's you, enjoy your freaking Oreo McFlurry after the show and go out and party and drink. But if you really want to go win that pro card, reassess, sit down, drink some water, drink some lemon water, and then talk to your coach, see what you need to work on, get back into the game. Even if you win a show, it's not over. Win another show. That's the mindset. We have to have a winner's mindset.
You got to keep going. It's interesting because, like, we have to be realistic that we're breaking a lot of habits with people as they're growing into this, but they can step up and be better. In bodybuilding, almost gets demonized in a way where it's like, I did too much cardio. And I'm like, I've never seen it. I've never seen anyone do too much cardio in my life. Now, I've seen bad planning, and I've seen programs that were not realistic for people to stick to. But if you're being honest with your coach and you're, you know, giving the feedback that they need to coach you, if you're truly getting coached, it should align with, you know, the next move. 20 more minutes of cardio isn't a push if you've been already doing the cardio you've supposed to been doing. But if you lied the whole time and all of a sudden we're here with cardio and you weren't even doing 20 minutes of it to begin with, that's not on me, you know. And that's it is too much cardio because the data that you were providing me is not enough, or the data that they were providing their other coach before me. But I have seen plans that aren't realistic to stick to. And if you're truly getting coached, your coach should listen to you. And, you know, maybe the stage is another 6 or 8 weeks away, and that's okay. But be willing to be flexible and take the time to bring a competitive physique to the stage. You know?
I got to say this. Adam is the best coach, guys. Adam is the man. Why? Because he listens to you. He tries to understand. And then he also gives you a plan, and he's willing to explain you. He's not just like how other coaches are just giving you stuff and just saying, listen to me, with no explanation. He will break it down for you and lead you and give you the opportunity to understand the light before the path. Okay. Most coaches do not do that. They come at you ego-based, treating you like a child. When you're working with Adam, he treats you as if you are a partner in what you're creating for your incredible physique. And not a lot of coaches do that. So I gotta pound you up, because this is my first time working with Adam, and there's some coaches that I want to slap, you know, and I want to slap these coaches.
I already know.
And I hear them, I hear how they down talk their clients. And I'm like, maybe that works for some people, but that doesn't work for everyone. I think what truly works for someone is someone that's really trying to understand your body and get you to, I mean, I'm a coach too, get them to truly understand what's going on with their body.
Well, the truth is you would do very well on your own, you know, but having that expert eye is, you know, helpful. But also don't want to treat you like you don't know anything.
Yeah.
You have things that you're doing with your clients. And when I relay information to you, one, it's important to me that you learn, or you at least understand why.
And you're very knowledgeable too. So let me ask you a question. You being such a knowledgeable coach, is it just a personality thing for you? Like, even if you know a lot, because you're around other coaches too, how do you feel about these coaches that are like know-it-all coaches when you actually have the information and understanding?
Yeah, I think that we all have to come from a place that we don't know everything. You know, I do daily Zooms with my clients, and there are times where someone will ask me something on the spot in front of 10 other people that I honestly don't know the answer to. So we're always learning as coaches, and the moment you stop learning, you should just retire from coaching, because
I agree,
there's so much to learn, you know, especially, nowadays we know so much more about health in the human body than we did before. So I think that, a lot of my humility that comes into coaching is still from, I never want to put someone's health at risk to, take them to the next level. Or if they've decided that, like, how do we minimize the risk, because it is bodybuilding, or, why are we designed to make this risk, I just think the level of care that I put into teaching people, like when they're going to that next level, this is how we measure things, and this is what to look out for. If your blood sugar drops, like this is what you need to do. You don't even need to ask me permission to eat. I want you to eat. Teaching people what to expect when things go wrong. And I think that's where a lot of my knowledge came from, is a point of, I've always had mentorship. I had Dr. Joe, I've had Jason Theobald, Austin Stout, some really great mentors. And I always embarked in that because I always wanted to make sure I didn't hurt anyone when I did this.
100%.
I'm someone who hates getting hurt. I hate pain. I don't want to get hurt. So I think I kind of expect to give the same to my clients,
What I like about you the most is your level of knowledge, but your security and confident in yourself to be able to tell people without making them feel like they need to know less. Because for some people, that's a selling tactic. For other coaches, it's just their way they come about things, right?
Yeah.
And I honor you for that, because that's super cool. And that always re-inspires me. Like, just be patient. You have to have a level of patience, right, with working with people.
Absolutely.
Even when they lack structure. I know you probably dealt with some clients that don't have a lot of structure. Like, what would be some tips that we could give, value tips that we could give when it comes to building structure?
Yeah, building structure, I think you just have to start from the ground up with things that are simple. I'm very much a macro coach, but I have meal plan clients, and sometimes they need a meal plan to start that structure. And then, maybe 4 weeks down the road, they say, I'm so tired of chicken and rice.
I need to switch it up.
Yeah.
Some coaches be like, no, just eat the chicken and rice. That's it.
Yeah. Or they say, put the rice on the chicken or the chicken on the rice to change it up.
Know.
But, then we say, well, let's teach you how to swap a meal. Here's your protein, carbs, and fats for that meal. Here's some ideas. I want you to come back on Monday and tell me this is what I swapped meal 3 with as a challenge. Some people don't want to learn, and that's fine too. And then I just swap the meal for them. But sometimes I'll explain, this is what I did, just so you know, because I do want people to have the opportunity to learn. And also, it kind of keeps my clients engaged with me, because people be in their DMs trying to bullshit them. And they're like, I already know more than this coach, because they're trying to put me on a meal plan, and I know more about the macros I should be eating than what this coach does. So it's also kind of protective for me personally. I feel like, to do this.
I agree. One thing for me when it comes to structure is, you do have to be patient with yourself. There is a learning curve. If you're at the beginning of your journey, if someone sends you a meal plan, it's going to be hard. You're not just going to catch on to it instantly. It might take you a week or two to really get it. So embrace that learning curve. Every master was once a disaster. I'm going to say that again. Every master was once a disaster. When I first started my first show, I had a struggle. I mean, I had so much food. I was like, how am I going to eat all this stuff? There's no freaking way. I had so much oatmeal, eggs. I had no clue what I was doing. I couldn't force it down. But now I'm at year 10 and I'm like, everything's dialed in. I don't miss my macros. I hit it every single day by the T. So, but that's with time and experience. So structure, one, focus on progression versus perfection.
Yep.
Because if you focus on perfection and then you mess up, there's a misstep, then you might quit or you might stop. Progression means each day. Next day, it's a new day. Start back over and try to hit those meals by the T. That's it.
You have to learn from your misses. You know, you really do. And, you can't just say I missed and go into the next day like, how did we miss? Was
Yeah.
it planning? Was it, you just chose to miss, or
Yes.
were you surrounded by
Self-awareness.
the wrong people and
Self-awareness, yes.
succumbed to peer pressure?
Mm-hmm.
You know, doesn't mean you have to say goodbye to your friends, but
Yeah.
you might have to for a couple weeks to get that structure, and then say, you know what, I've been on a roll for 4 weeks. I'm going to go out with them and
Yeah.
say no when they offer me this.
And another one with structure is honesty.
Yep.
Stop lying to yourself. We got to stop lying to ourselves.
Absolutely.
My first prep, man, I don't want to say this. My first prep, each check-in, I would send a random weight. It wouldn't even be my correct weight, just so I could have my coach think I'm losing weight week by week. And it doesn't matter. Now I'm like mad at the coach because I'm not following the plan. I'm eating Chamui gummy bears on the side. This is my first show. This is why. And I showed up to the show and I looked like, wow, with my genetics, you would think I would have looked way better. But that show, like I look back, I'm like, okay, that's why you look like that. But being honest with yourself, because you could lie to your coach, you could lie to your mama, you could lie to your girlfriend, but if you're constantly lying to yourself, you're never going to get the result. So
you might start believing it. That
that's even
becomes
worse.
homeostasis for you to just say,
how many people believe their own lies?
yeah. Well, also too, like anytime people start a diet and they're really being legitimately tracking, every client tells me this. I went to the fridge and opened it and looked for like that calorie free thing. And I realized like how many actual bad habits I had
Yes.
that I didn't realize I had until like someone else was keeping me accountable.
Yes.
And
And like I said, if we're honest with ourselves, when you're going home and you have that craving, you're like, man, I really want ice cream. And you had it, and it's like, okay, man, text your coach. Hey, I had the ice cream. I don't know. And then you could reassess where you're actually at as a person. But that gives you a better structure to be able to move forward, because we can't move forward if we're building your house on sand. What does that mean? We're building your house on fluff.
Yeah.
You haven't set down a foundation to really understand where you're at. And we can't take you where you want to go if we don't know where you're at.
I've always called my coaching like a commitment fee. I don't even like calling it a payment, but it's just like, if you're going to be accountable and committed to me, like this is the best thing versus like using Chat GPT that you have no love and respect and real relationship.
ChatGPT will lie to you and tell you can have a McDonald's if it's part of your macros.
You won't respect it as much as a true human,
that's true.
That's what's been great about working with you guys is, being in person, and it helps me with my online people to, have the relationships and, cultivate this. And it also helps my online clients because they get to see you guys progress. And, some of the workouts we do, I'll be like, man, that was a really good leg day. So-and-so needs to build up their legs.
Yeah.
I'm going to make them do that, really hard leg press set that we did and make them push through that.
Yeah.
And that's been really cool. I'm so excited for this show.
I'm excited too.
We're going to have to keep podcasting for
Yeah.
sure, because
Yeah.
I think we could continue on and on.
I know.
So how can people find you if they want to see you?
Hey guys, so if you guys are trying to get some motivation or some fitness tips, you guys could follow me at Emerald Dupree. I'm on YouTube, I'm on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, Tumblr, whatever. Find me on it, Pinterest. Let's go.
And I'm Adam with See You Later Leaner, and we will see you later, Leaner.
See you later, Leaner. Let's go.